agreement with IIT Kanpur, which will allow us to develop jointly a PhD program for Indian students who are interested in studying at a very high level in the fields of chemistry and biology, and in particular the intersection between chemistry and biology. So what we aim to do is to create a joint program with scholarship support in which students would spend 70% of their time in Kanpur and then 30% of their time in Melbourne, in La Trobe. And with a supervisor from each organisation, and that really, we hope, will then lead to much more collaboration between the two organisations.
Okay, so this is the news.
Yes, there are two others. Another purpose of our visit today was to visit Amity University, not far from you, in Noida.
It's nearby.
And there we have a much wider relationship, which involves student mobility, so students going in both directions for cultural experiences or short programs, joint teaching programs, so we're talking to them about a possible combined bachelor and master's degree in cybersecurity.
Okay.
So students can start at Amity and then transition to La Trobe and be awarded 2 degrees at the end of it. And then we're talking about joint research, and we already conduct some research collaboratively with them. The other partnership that is very active at the moment is the partnership we have with JSS University in Mysore.
Which ones?
JSS University in Mysore. They're a very strong medical and health science university which matches our strengths, and we have a joint PhD program with them that pays for about 14 PhD students at any one time. And the other thing that I'll be announcing tonight is a new single scholarship called the Women in Leadership Scholarship, which is aimed at a young woman who wants to study cybersecurity, but who doesn't have the financial means on her own to do that. So it's a very specific, very targeted scholarship, but one that we hope will make a profound difference in the life of the recipient.
So can you share about the scholarships?
It's for one scholarship at the moment,
Okay.
and in fact they were funds that we raised from donors on the basis of an event that we ran here last year. So we received some very generous donations, and that's allowed us to create this scholarship fund. As I said, the criteria are that the applicant must be an Indian citizen, must be a woman, must be wanting to study the Master of Cybersecurity, and perhaps most importantly, does not have the financial means on their own to come and study with us. So it's something that allows someone to come and get a degree that they wouldn't otherwise do.
So what it includes?
We will cover, so from the funds we have available, we will cover as much as we can in terms of tuition fees, stipend to cover living costs, travel expenses. So we aim to make it as cost-free to the recipient as possible.
So what is the current number of Indian students enrolled in this university?
Can I just, Kelly?
So is it growing like in...
Yes, it is growing. And it's growing because, well, we're seeing most Indian students coming to study postgraduate degrees, particularly in IT, engineering and business, but increasingly, and I think this is where the growth is happening, in areas where there's high employment demand. So big data, data science, data analytics, and in cybersecurity, and to some extent in health as well, because these are all parts of the economy where there is enormous demand for skills, but a very short supply. So Indian students are making very careful judgments about where they will get the best return on their investment.
So how well Indian students do they perform?
Really well. Really well.
And what are their favorite courses where they enroll?
Well, as I've said, they historically have tended to favour IT, engineering, and business. Those have been the most popular. But growing in popularity now are these new areas, particularly data analytics, data science, cybersecurity. So the areas where employers are desperate to recruit people, but where there is a huge skills shortage. So people who are choosing to go into those sorts of degrees are making a very smart choice because the employment opportunities are enormous.
Okay, so one more question.
There have been no stories of that sort for almost 10 years in Australia. And any behaviour of that sort is absolutely not tolerated on our campus. We have a very lively, very active Indian Students Association who provide a lot of cultural events. So we did a colour run recently. You know, is it Kohli? You call it Kohli?
Sorry?
That's it. Yeah. We have one of those on campus. It was enormous fun. They hold a number of events for themselves, but also for the other students. So there's a very strong, supportive cultural environment for Indian students at La Trobe, but also the opportunity for students to engage with people from many other cultures from around the world.
So if we talk about the culture, while India is quite different when it comes to education, so how do they adopt, like when they go abroad? How university help them?
It's that different, actually.
In terms of education system?
Well, as I say, most of the students who come to us are postgraduate students. So they've already had a degree. They've got an undergraduate degree. So I'm not sure that the transition. I mean, you have to talk to the students themselves really to find out. But my sense is that they make the transition incredibly fast. I remember one morning I got to work. And there was a young Indian student who had just been dropped off from the airport by a taxi. And he had his luggage with him. And he said, can you point me to my college, please? He had no idea who I was. So I said, yes, just go over there. Off he went.
Okay.
And he was fine. He was absolutely fine. Literally straight off the plane. So I don't think there's a huge adjustment that Indian students have to make, particularly where they already have a degree. And as I said, there is that enormous cultural network already there at the university, and there's a big Indian community in Melbourne as well.
So
there does seem to be a trend away from the US. I think because it's perceived to be a less friendly place towards foreign students than had been the case perhaps before. But you always see a little bit of the movement between countries depending on immigration regimes and post-study work rights and so on. I think Australia is very competitive with the current post-study work rights regime. It gives students the opportunity to gain at least 2 years experience once they finish their degree. In the case of PhD students, 3 years. But students have to make the judgment based on a whole combination of factors: quality, safety, consumer protection, employment outcomes, and all of that adds up to value for money. Where am I going to get the best value for money? I think Australia offers a really compelling proposition for international students.
You have signed the MOU with Amity University for the exchange program with the students.
Yes.
Can you throw some light on that? In one go, how many students will go to Australia from Amity, as well as simultaneously how many students will visit India?
There's no limit.
Okay.
It's really determined by how many students want to go in each direction. But that in turn depends on how innovative we can be in creating programs that they want to follow. So let me give you an example. We know that not every Australian student is able to take time out to spend, let's say, a semester studying in an overseas university. So we need to find ways of creating shorter programs that offer students an immersion in Indian culture, politics, society, that's meaningful, but which doesn't take them away from their studies and their work for too long. And this is something that Amity has done very well. They have a number of international partners of their own with whom they've developed programs like this. So it's really how well we can meet the needs of students, and then how many students want to take the opportunity. And that works in both directions, but there's no limit really.
Another question, like you have just signed the MOU with IIT Kanpur in the chemistry and cyber security and all these things. Yeah. Are you in recent future planning to do such type of things with some other Indian university in the subject field like law and other like arts subjects? Anything as such in pipeline?
So we are always open to collaborative partnerships with Indian institutions. What needs to happen though is for there to be some personal connection between an academic or a staff member at the Trobe and a staff member at a potential partner institution. I can't say we will have a relationship with that institution if there's nothing already happening. There has to be a ground up or bottom up development to these relationships. That's what makes them work. That's how the IIT Kanpur relationship came about. That's how the Amity relationship came about. That's how the JSS relationship came about. It depends on professional and personal relationships that can then grow into an institutional relationship.
Thank you so much, Professor. We're talking with the fashiongaze.com and all the very best. Thank you.
You're